Hey, all right, guys, let's get started. So, in today's session, our focus is on whoops concepts because we are very sound in functions now. So, let's start applying, functions into whoops. Okay. So, all right. So, when it comes to whoops, so what does really mean actually? Let me also create a one. Many of people they got afraid of this concept. Oops. So even in the college, we had a lack of resources, or even instructors are not much trained on oops concepts. That's where it created a panic situation. But really, this is easiest concept, and it is so much fun to learn. And so far, if you had spent so much time on functions and other things, let's say working with functions, working with variables, if you know those two, right, you already made 50% of OOPS concepts. Okay, let's understand what is. Hey, can someone go on mute? Looks like someone is on mute state, creating a lot of noise in the background. All right. Uh, so in OOPS, there are primarily two things: classes, class and objects. So two primary concepts are in OOPS, right? We need to understand two primary concepts. So one is class, other one is object. Okay, all right. So first, what is a class? In a very short, a class is a blueprint. People used to say, right? A class is a blueprint. Why? Like, what does mean by blueprint? Right? It's just that in order to understand this, you can refer a class as a blueprint, but it has attributes. It has attributes. So variables and methods. So methods are functions. Guys, now did you understood? What is a class? A class is a blueprint. It has attributes and methods. That's it. Now, when someone asks you about, hey, can you tell me about class in OOPS? You can simply say that a class is a blueprint. It has it contains it contains attributes and methods. Okay, to perform certain action. Got it? That's it. And what is objects? Objects objects are created using classes. So objects are created using classes or using class. Okay. All right. In order to give one more insights about what is class and what is object with a real world example. Okay. If to that, what I'll do is I'll quickly show you. For example, take a bike, a bike blueprint. Guys, what did you see here? You are seeing a prototype, right? Like, the blueprint of it. So how, like, if you see, you are saying, A, it should have two wheels, an engine, and, the other parts of bike. Did you see this? So this is a blueprint of a bike, isn't it? So consider this is a bike, right? Or you can click on images, that's fine. Did you see? I think I can take this as the example. In this, what did you notice? So this is the class case. Okay, a class is a blueprint which has attributes and methods. Got it? Meaning which has variables and methods. Don't tell me where is variables and method. Just that, see, simple, this is a handle. Handle is a variable. Understood? Engine, right? Like wheel. and chain. You are seeing all the information, right? So this is a blueprint. So meaning a class contains variables and methods. So variable in the sense we used to say like attributes, and methods are functions. And this is a class. So class is a, in short, it has attributes and methods. Okay. And what is objects? So objects are created using class. By using this blueprint, object is getting created. So object is, see, until this blueprint in Python, there is no memory is allocated in your system. Okay. But when the object is created, see, it is just a blueprint, right? It does nothing. Okay. But when you create a object from the specific class, then the memory will be allocated. Memory will be conserved. Guys, did you understood? Mm-hmm. Uh, no, pardon? No, no, it's recording. All right. So right. So now did you understood, guys? A class is a blueprint. Objects are created using this blueprints. So did I justify this? A class is a blueprint. It has attributes and methods. Okay, and objects are created using classes. So in one go, you can take this as example. You got it? Yeah. I think we can use this example for our recording. All right. Now let's go back here. So syntax. Syntax is class, class, class name, and attributes and methods. Got it? So this is syntax. So see, attributes and methods are optional. So it might contain objects, it might contain attributes, it might contain methods. It's not necessary that it should have attributes and methods. No, it can be an empty class as well. Okay, yeah. Now let me write a small program. Same thing. Say class. So just now we have seen bike, right? We can consider a bike class. Class bike. Okay. Let's say when it comes to manufacturer, manufacturer equal to bike manufacturer. Let's say Bugatti, right? Right. Did you understand? So this is a attribute, meaning a variable. We define one variable inside a class. See, when you define a variable inside a class, we used to call attribute. Okay. And let's say d of um, bike details. Okay. And if you see, like along with the normal thing, there is something called self as by default added. So I didn't add it. So if I do this, if I see, I didn't even time. I just pressed open bracket. Automatically it added self. Okay, so this is one strange guy. Like you will understand the purpose. Basically, this is a object reference for each and every object we create, right? For storing that object reference or to reference to that respective object, we will use this self. So that is the purpose of it. Even in interview, there is a question. Hey, can you explain about self in method? So you can say it's an object reference. We will come to know clearly. Yeah, you can say. So I'm just writing some details. Um, a bike is, for example, Bugatti and top seller. the market. We got it. I would say here, or just that I'm directly sending data, something like this. Okay, all right. Now, what did you observe here? Did you see in this basic class, basic class, I created a attribute. So this is the attribute we used to say, and this is the method. Okay, so this is a blueprint. So see, I didn't add the whole picture of what it is, but generally it's a basic example. Okay, and to support this, for example, so how to create a simple class? Let's say create an empty class. So how we can create empty class? See, class some class name. Let's say XYZ class, anything dummy class colon and pass. So during our session on Python, Python functions, even not only functions, even in the loops, right? We started using pass, continue, break keywords, right? So what is the purpose of pass? So pass means do nothing. So what is the use of pass? Actually, when we want to make syntactically correct, for example, consider this. Consider this example, or let me quickly have example 01. So let's say if I want to create an empty class, let's say class dummy, for example, like this. If I start executing this, it would cry. It would be not happy. Hey, indentation error. Expected an indented block after the class definition on line number one. So after line number one, we are expecting some indentation block, meaning we put a colon, right? And it is expecting some indentation block. It is expecting some code out here. But since we made a completely empty there, so it's not happy. So to make it syntactically correct, what we need to do is in Python we had some dummy statement, which is pass statement. If you just say pass, which means that now we are making a program syntactically correct. All right. So if I go ahead and trigger this now, this time it wouldn't raise any issue. The reason is it required some indentation block, but it can be any code. Got it? Right. Now, so this is a class, right? Now, how to create an object of it? So this is a basic class. Now, how to create an object of it? It is simple that you can name any meaningful object name. Let's say dummy one, meaning I'm creating a first object and dummy. And when you're creating a class object, you should use open and close brackets. So this way, it will create a dummy object of this class. If you want to create a class object dummy, so you should use open and close brackets. Without that, it is not a class object. It is still you are renaming it. All right. Yeah. So to understand this quickly, uh, yeah, I think we can continue, but you can come to know, right? So here, if I trigger this, you are not seeing anything, right? Because I'm not printing, I'm not doing anything, nothing I'm doing. Now let's try to understand to print the class variable name. So class name is dummy, and what is the object name? Dummy one. Okay, let's try to print dummy is. We need to understand, right? We need to understand what is dummy. Now print so that you'll get a difference between what is a class object and what is the method. Dummy one is dummy one. Make sense? Now, if I trigger this, did you see this? Dummy is a class. Dummy is a class. Whatever dummy I mentioned, it is a class. But if you see dummy one is what? Dummy one is a object. It is an object of what? Dummy class. Yes, did you see this? It is an object of dummy class. And if you see, for the class, you are not seeing any memory, right? For like I printed a class name here, line number 6, but there is no memories allocated. Why? Because when you create some blueprint, so memory, your program will not allocate any memory to it. But when you create an object, then it start allocating memory, so that whatever data you want to store, it will use it. You got it? But class does not contain a memory. When even you can say in the a class is a blueprint, it has attribution methods and memory will not be created for for class blueprint. Okay. Now, what is objects? I think even no one will answer like this, guys. Okay, so the answers will be from the real time. So you should say this answer when some. I think there should be a damn sure questions on object oriented programming. So when someone asks you what is a class, is a blueprint and it has attribution methods, and the memory will not be created for this blueprint. Memory will not be assigned or created for this class blueprint. Created or assigned for class blueprint. And what is objects? Objects are created using classes, right? Uh, Classes, and when object created when using class, memory memory will be assigned. Memory will be assigned to the object. That's where you are saying, see, after I created a class, I don't see any memory out here. But when I create a object, then here I'm seeing object here. Memory is created. Got it? Yeah, this is how we should learn. Make sense? So this is a basic example, right? And let me comment this out. All right. Now this is the first example. Okay. Now, how to, let's say I created for example, let me create one more dummy. Same thing, dummy only. This is empty class. Sorry. Create an empty class example. All right. Next one. Create a class with attributes. All right. Now, so what I'm going to create. So I create an object now. So let's say object name is, for example, bike. This can be anything: bike, vehicle, fruit. You can use any name, human, for example, whatever it is. That's fine. You create any object and say it has some name. For example, let's say bike name equal to, for example, Bugatti. Right now, see now we just had a blueprint which has bike. Bike is the class name, and which has attribute. If you see the class attribute name, did you see this? You are also seeing right in the screen. It's a class attribute. So name is a class attribute, and which whose value is Bugatti. Understood? Now with this object, with this object, with this, like see, with this object, if I can create a number of bikes, right? Not only one bike, correct? Because it's a blueprint. If I had a blueprint of something, I can create a number of objects with that. So currently I'm holding this blueprint, for example. I can create a number of Bugattis. Okay, Dugatti, Dugatti, not Bugatti. That's fine, whatever it is. And if you see the other one, so Harley Davidson, right? So this is a bike. If I had a blueprint, I can give it to the my manufacturing company, and they can get me the same blueprint, same output. You got it? So like this, you are seeing many things, right? Many vehicles like this. So many, if you have a blueprint, you can create a number of things, and whatever blueprint it has, you can only create that object. You got it? But one class with one blueprint, we can create a number of objects, guys. You got it? With one blueprint, correct? No, if the blueprint is created for the bike, for example, same blueprint can be used for manufacturing a number of bikes. Understood? Similar way, if I go back here, class bike name equal to Bugatti. Now, whatever I can use this blueprint for creating a number of bikes. Let's say bike one equal to bike I created. Okay. Now, so bike is created. Now, if I want to see what is the bike name, right? Because I created bike using attribute name equal to Bugatti, for example. Now, if I say print bike name is right. So how we can access the attribute of the class. So you should use object name syntax to access the attribute. Syntax is very simple. So object object dot attribute. That's it, guys. Now, did you see this? This is syntax. All right. See, I created class bike and name equal to Bugatti, right? And bike one equal to bike. I created an object. So here, so this is I think better. I'll do one thing. I'll just say this is a blueprint. Okay. Now here, bike one. Bike one is an bike one is an object. You got it? Now, did you understood? Now, this is what? Name is what? Name is a attribute. Got it? Now I want to access the value of bike name. I want to access the bike name attribute, for example. So bike name is how we can access it? It's simple that what is the object name? The syntax is right. uh, Perfect. So bike one dot name. That's it. You are done. So meaning what we have done? We have created a blueprint and we created an object. Now I want to access the attribute of the class using object. So what is syntax? Syntax is very simple. Object name dot attribute. Okay. So here object is bike one and attribute is name. Understood? If I trigger this, see bike name is Bugatti. So outside of this class, after creating object, I access the class attribute because the object is created. How can I access the class attribute, right? Because this object is created using the by class. Got it? So that's why I can able to access all attributes and methods of the class. Okay, and let's say add one more attribute. Let's say bike is this and price, for example. Price equal to, let's say, for example, this is the price in lakhs, for example. Now bike name is this, and if you want to access attribute of price and its price and its prices. So what is the attribute name? So the object name bike one Nice. Perfect. If I trigger this, now you are seeing, you are accessing all attributes of the class. Name of the bike, also the price of the bike. Make sense? Let's say some number. Something. Got it? Now you are able to access attributes and attributes of the class using object name. Now let us create this example 01. Let me use this other example. In that, let me use some methods as well. Same example I've used, but I'll be adding def. Let's say uh, get details. So I just add a method, and here I'm just returning, say, what I'm going to do is this would say, and one more important thing. So when there is an attribute, if you want to access inside of the method, for example, you cannot directly access. So let me uh, let's say, or I'll just say color equal to, let's say, gold, for example. Get bike color. Okay. Now if you want to get a bike color, so here the method is this, but you can also use a method or function to access this attribute. So meaning it's not about that, like when it comes to implementation, right? Bike color is, right, say, self dot colors. So if you want to access, you should not access directly, if you want to access this attribute of the class inside the method, so you should use self dot color. Don't worry. So this will be cleared out, when we start working on the constructor and other things. But when you want to use the attributes of the class inside a method, you should pass self dot and that attribute name. You got it? Now, if you want to access, see, we had attribute. These are the attributes, and we had one method. Now, did you understand? It's very clear, right? Because attributes means what? Variables. Method means what? Functions. Whatever the concept that we have learned during the function concepts, everything is applied, everything else is same. Just one strange guy will be there. Once we come to know what is this, who is this guy, and what is the purpose of this guy staying here, then it would be so much clear on, even oops. All right, yeah. So this is where you have created object, and in this line accessing the attributes class using an object. Okay, now I want to know the color of the bike. See, I can get the color of the bike directly using the attribute object name dot this one. But in order to give one more example, how I can use the method in a class, right? So I created a method inside a class. And see, guys, and when it comes to class, you should be very clear that you should the syntactically on the even indentation. If you see, the indentation should match line. For example, if you write attributes there, and if you add if you write like this, for example, then this is not a this is not a method. This become a normal routine function. Got it? And so indentation should be proper. See, the mistakes people used to do is we used to create we used to create indentation line here 4 spaces, but here method I created only 1 space. If I go and trigger this, we will encounter issues with this. Let's say indentation error. Hey, unindented does not match any outer indentation level. which means that hey, you created this thing, but I'm not okay with the indentation level. You got it? So it has to match. Even if you see, if you just mouse over here, or if you just mouse over here, it would tell you, hey, you are seeing this, a red color, right? Red color underline. Hey, unindented does not match any outer indentation level. So what you should do is, since it is not matching, so you should say give tab. That's it. You're done. So by default, the default spaces, right? So by default, it contains 4 white spaces, guys. Even if you want to just quickly look, so if you do 1, 2, 3, 4, got it? So why 4 white spaces? But if you're using native editors of Python like PyCharm, so PyCharm by defaultly, after putting colon there and enter, it by default take you 4 white spaces. Got it? Now this is now accessing. We tried accessing the attributes of the class. Let's try accessing the methods of the class. Got it? And so when you do this, so how we can do it? Simple. Same. The syntax would be, I would say here, accessing methods. Accessing methods. So how we can do that? So object name dot method, front close bracket. That's it. Guys, understood? Now, so when I start, let me start using method of this class. Let's say, or directly I'll call, because it is anyway it is returning the some string from here, right? So let's say get by color. If I say get by color, I cannot. Why? Because I see get by color is what? Get by color is a method of a class, but I cannot access directly here. If I go and trigger this, calling this by color itself, for example. So what is the problem? It's a name error, right? Why name error? Because when I go and hit this, it will tell a name error. Hey, I don't know what is bicolor is, right? But actually, this bicolor is of you know um, class bike method. But since I created an object. So when I want to access this method, I should only access through the object name. Got it? So here, bike one dot method. Guys, got it? If you just uh, you know if you just or if you just mention, let's say, if you just type the object name, right, and it will tell you what are the methods. See, even you are seeing, right? See, these are the attributes. These are attributes, and here this is a method. Got it? That's it. So how you are calling a function? You are calling a function with the function name and followed by open and close brackets, right? This is what you made a function call. Got it? And if see, if I trigger this, it is saying, hey, there are two print statement of this class, right? So it has method, one method, 3 attributes, and this is a class name. And I created an object, and I with that object I tried accessing the attributes of it, right? And also I tried accessing the methods of the class. So bike1 dot get by color. We got it? Bike1 dot get by color. This is a method of the class. So I have accessed this by color function or method using object of the class. So this is object, right? So if you go back here, and as mentioned, so this is a bike. This is a blueprint, right? Blueprint. I created. See, this is a bike is the blueprint, and I created a bike one, for example. Let's say I created a bike two, bike three, bike two, bike three, and bike four, for example. So by using one blueprint, you can create a number of objects of it. So currently what I created only bike one, correct? So let me do one thing. So let me create bike two. So I'll simply use Control F, bike one, replace bike two, right? So meaning I created bike two, and similarly I create, currently it is bike two. Let me create bike three. So what is the need of creating this? See, the idea is very simple. With one blueprint, with one class blueprint, we can create n number of objects of it. Like as soon as you create objects, it will clearly it will create a memory. It will allocate memory for each object. And using that object, let's say if you see the first case, what did I have done here? I created a bike one object, got it, and I have tried accessing the methods of it, method of the class using the object name. So bike name is bike one dot name, and its price is this. And also I tried accessing the method of the class. So bike one dot get bike color, got it. And since since bike 2, for example, when it comes to bike 2, even I created bike 2 using the same blueprint of bike. I created let's say this is a bike 1 and this is a bike 2, for example. So I created this bike 2, using the same blueprint, which means that what? So whatever the color that we intended or defined and whatever the functionality it has, so we are simply copying attributes and methods of the class, right? I created a bike 2, bike 2 um, bike to object from the same class bike. And here now how we can access the attributes and methods of this? By using the object. So here object name is bike2. So bike name is bike2.name and its price is bike2.price. And to access the method of it, get bike color, so object name dot bike color. Make sense? Similarly, you can you can create a number of a number of objects. Let me create let's say this is a bike one name, for example, bike 2 name, this is bike 3 name, just for your reference. Okay. If you create this, you'll see this, because it's a fixed actually. When it comes to here, the name of the bike, the price of the bike, and the color of the bike. So completely fixed, right? Did you see this? There's a fixed predefined value, static values. So this is not a dynamic, right? This is completely a static where the bike name, color, everything got fixed. Meaning with this class, whatever bike we manufacture, so it will come with the whole features of what bike has, right? So since it has the static data, which means that already we decided bike name is this, price. Oh, I think my bad. I just mentioned prince. It's a price, right? Right. So meaning since there is a static data, so we will get only this data. And so like you had a again question. Hey, Kumar, so you were saying that it is a static data, but when it comes to bike companies, right? So bike companies shares the same model. For example, bike so every bike company has a similar blueprint, but few features will be changed. Let's say they have let's say when it comes to Royal Enfield, right? So it comes with a big mission. The engine is same. Like for any bike, there is an engine, but Royal Enfield engine comes with what we can say, two-stroke, four-stroke. There's a different, but the engine size is big, for example, and vehicle weight is different. But the when it comes to the blueprint is almost same. There is a small adjustment here and there. You got it? Now, now you are claiming is that this is fine. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with this example where it has predefined values, and whatever data we are mentioning here, that will be simply we are getting it or we are printing it down. Like what if I want to make a dynamic, let's say every bike company, for example, there is a bike blueprint, and the same blueprint I can sell it to Hero Honda, I can sell it to Yamaha, sell it to Suzuki, or sell it to XYZ company. Got it? In that case, so how we can explain, how we can tell me like how can I create it, right? So that time what you need to do is, let me create one more example with the same, let me copy it. So here, so currently, what are the, how many attributes are there? So there are three attributes are there. So for this, you need to create one function. So there is some we used to call as a magic function, magic method in Python. Even in interviews they'll ask, hey, can you tell me about magic method in Python? So magic method is something when we create object. So it will by default that guy comes to picture. Okay. So let me show you how it is. So for example, magic method is underscore underscore init. So it's a in, got it. So this is a magic method. For example, if I do this, so this guy initializes the attribute. So currently I'm not passing anything. I had some dummy only. So if I create this, you will come to know one by one. Let me do this. Let's say bike one, or just say bike is first bike is TVS, for example. TVS equal to, I created from bike. Okay, I'm creating this bike and this. If I execute this, this executes with no issues. Got it? Because, and one more important thing, I'll try to create some print statement here to make you understand. Someone call me. Someone someone tried. Someone call, not tried. Someone call me, for example. So if I execute this, what did you see? I just created an object, right? I just created object. But there is a function, there is a function name underscore underscore init function. So we used to call this function as a constructor function. So constructor function will be invoked. Concept is constructor. Constructor will be, constructor is a special function. Constructor is a special function. It will be called default when we call. Constructor is a special function. It will be called. So we had used statically defined data. Now I want to define this name of the bike, price of the bike, and color of the bike dynamically while creating the object. Okay. So to help that, we had a constructor. Constructor is a special function which will be called, which would help us instead of say uh, special function. It it helps us to initialize initialize the. So a constructor is a special function. It helps us to initialize the class attributes. Make sense? Right. Now, so here I did show you one example, right? So let's say df underscore underscore init. So this is a magic method. Okay. So this is a constructor. When I have this, as mentioned, let me do one more time. Let's say BMW, for example, BMW bike equal to bike class. All right. Now, if I create this, if I trigger this, I don't see any issue, no issue, right? But as mentioned, I construct a special function. It helps us to initialize the class attributes, right? Now, how many attributes are there? Name attribute is there, for example. So, so let me do one thing. I want to decide the price. See, the what we can say, bike name is fine, but bike color and bike price will be decided during, during the manufacturing, for example, meaning creating the object. Okay. So what I'll do is, I'll just say here, I'll just take down these two. Okay. And I want to initialize those two during object creation, right? Now, what I want to initialize? I want to initialize the price. I should say during, I'll also mention color of the bike and price of the bike. Understood. Now, if I, now we are done. When I call this, now it will create issue. A, you are creating object BMW equal to bike, right? And if you see, it has only one attribute, and there is magic method. So what is magic method? Magic method, it's a constructor. So constructor is it having two objects, sorry, two attributes. It required two values actually for color and price. See, bike init method missing to require positional arguments, color and price. So if you don't give, it will not, this will not, it will not create object. You got it? Now, let's say, let me give a color. Let's say color equal to, for example, white, white color. And if I execute, again, still it will fail, right? What is the reason? Because I given color, it stores here, that's fine. But that's what, when you create, when I create object, by default, it invokes the, constructor, and constructor, this is a function. So this function, it has mandatory arguments. These two are mandatory. I have to pass color, I have to pass the value for price, both. Okay, now I have passed only one. Again, it is saying like, hey, one missing positional argument, price. Can you also provide information for this? Let's say if I say this, okay, comma, sorry, price is, like I'm using keyword based arguments, price, price equal to, for example, white color, imagine, let's say, premium, for example, 1,50,000, for example. Okay, if I trigger this now, no problem. Guys, did you understood? But you have passed these two values to this uh, function parameters. But you need to initialize. If you want to access, you have to initialize. So how you can initialize? When you are when you are typing it down, you have to initialize self dot color, self dot color equal to color. Okay, and self dot self dot price equal to price. You have to initialize. Now, see, there is something called lifetime actually. So once we create, once we create this instance attribute. So this is a when we do the self dot color equal to color. So it's a creating. So self means what? Instance, right? Creating instance attribute. There's a difference actually. So creating instance attribute, you can directly give, do like this also. So I'll do one thing. So no problem. Creating instant attribute, yeah, creating instant attribute, right? So this is also price also instant attribute. So whenever there is a variable like in a prefix with self dot, which means that it's an instant attribute. And lifetime is throughout this class. Let's say anywhere in the class I can access. So for example, if I go here, now I want to access, let's say df uh, get price. So return. So since I initialized, so I can directly get a price. Price of the bike. Price of the bike is self dot price. Got it? But what is the problem? So for example, if I execute this, if I execute this, no problem with it, and I can create, since the object is created. See, since the object is created using by class has attribute name, and it has two methods. One is init method. It is initializing the while creating the object, we can initialize the values. We can initialize values dynamically, so that while creating object we can initialize the things, whatever the data and all. And I have one more extra method which is used to get the information. Let's say whatever we initialize, I want to know the price of the vehicle. So by then now BMW dot get price. You got it? So now when you print, when you see, if you do this again, it wouldn't print anything, because when you do a get price, right, it returned this data. But since I'm not applied any print statement, right, that's where it is not printing out. So say print get price, get bike price, right? This way, what we are doing is, whatever this function is getting returning. Did you see this? So bike price is, just trigger this. That's okay. So the price of the bike is 1,50,000, for example. Got it? So here, now what did you see? So we know the information attribute. We were getting the information. Now imagine I had a price. Let's say price is fine. The color, right? Color, I'm not. Let me create one more. One more. Let me also pass one more parameter. Initialize color, price, and engine, for example. Let's say engine, right? But here I don't use a self dot, but normally I'll use engine equal to, it's like normal attribute. Let's say now engine equal to engine. Okay, this is a normal attribute. Lifetime is lifetime is within this function. You got it? What did you understood? Meaning I can use only this variable inside this function only. I cannot access somewhere. Let's say if I say df get, right, say return bike engine, say is, I'm trying to say self dot. Did you see? You don't see engine, right? For example, I want to access the way I'm accessing the price, right? I want to access the engine. Okay, so this variable. If I trigger this, did you see this? It is saying that okay, I need to pass it. No, one second. I defined here one extra, but I had to pass, let's say, 1000 cc or 1,999 cc, for example. Got it? Positional. Okay, I should. Oh, sorry. I should say like engine equal to 1,999 cc. And if I execute this, now if you see, there is no issue, but it will not create issue until until you call this explicitly. Sorry, call this explicitly. Did you see this? Still, it is complaining, right? Did you see some unresolved bike attribute? But this program still executed. Why it's still executed? The reason is very simple. The engine, right? Engine is I didn't call this function. When I call this function, then only the application breaks. BMW dot, what's the function name? Get engine, right? And see, the get engine function is the method we had here, and I'm trying to access attribute, which is a normal attribute. See, this is a normal attribute. I'm trying to access this attribute, and I'm initializing it. Once initialization is done, what I'm doing, I'm just using functions. I'm getting the values of it. I'm returning, let's say, price. I had a function which would return me price. Let's say price of the bike is self dot price. And here I want to get I want to get the information about engine. So bike engine is, you see, uh, I'm just using this. But here engine is what? Normal variable. It's not an instant variable. It's not starts with self dot. So life, that's a normal variable. Lifetime is within this function. So meaning within this function we can use this variable. But outside of the function we cannot. You got it? That's why it is complaining. Now, if I get the bike BMW dot to get bike engine, if I say, it will say name error. Hey, attribute error. Sorry, bike object has no attribute engine. Did you understood? So bike object has no attribute engine. Why? Reason is simple. It is not because you're trying to access some attribute here. This you are trying to access this attribute. But what is the reason here? You cannot access. The reason is very simple. The bike engine object is normal attribute and it's not instance. The lifetime is within this. That's where it is not finding this attribute. Clear? Do you have any questions on this? If you see this error, then you should understand that something you define which cannot be accessible other than that function. So to fix this, how you can fix it? If you want to fix it, simply uh, to fix this, what I'm going to do is I'll just comment this out for your reference and create one more line and here say self dot. So when I do a self dot engine, which means that um, this become an instant attribute. Guys, did you understand the difference? This will create an instant attribute. Now, if I trigger this, I can get the bike price as well as even the bike price as well as the engine. So if you get engine, but there is no print statement, I'm using print BMW engine. So if I trigger this out, then it says bike engine is CC 1999. Guys, any question in this? Are you good? Where here, right? No, see, you can define normal variables also. See, function can accommodate normal variables, normal attributes, as well as the instance attributes. You got it? So you need to understand the difference. So sometimes we don't need to, we don't need to use this attribute anywhere else in the program. For example, that time you can define this normal variable, but there is no much use. But for example, you don't want to, you want to limit this lifetime of the variable. There is a case where you don't want to use. That time what you have to do is, instead of make it everywhere in the like availability for everywhere inside the class, you want to limit to that particular function, then we should define normal variable. So imagine when this initialized, for example, and I don't want to let's say there is something I want to let's say success, for example. Success equal to installation done, for example, right? In this case, now I define normal variable. But what I'll do is, so I'll pass this normal I'll just return say success. Understood? So meaning as soon as I create this, if I go and trigger this init method should return none or okay. Oh, sorry, here. Uh, No, I can print it off. I should not return from the init, but I can, for example, I want to print. Say there is no big use case, but we should understand that basically to limit the scope of the variable, to perform such certain actions, we will use this. perfect. Yeah, whenever we are doing, so we will always use self dot, because we need to see self dot means what? So that is meant for the specific object of the class. What are the object that we created? So for the intention is to uh, use this particular attribute and method for that respective object of the class. Yeah, let's say success. Got it? So now I don't want to use the success variable anywhere else here, for example. So now if I go back here, if I do this, see, this way I will understand, okay, initialization done. Did you understood? But I'm not using I'm not using this attribute anywhere. So that particular scenario, when you decide, oh, okay, this is only bound to that particular function, and I don't want to access anywhere else inside of the class with another methods. Okay, that particular case we can use this, right? We don't want to use. Yeah, we don't want to use anywhere. Yeah, Molly, you are also fine with it? Any constraints from your side? Okay. So now assignment is create a create a vehicle class, or create a you can say like employee, create an employee class with attributes and methods. Okay, and create a same create a full class with attributes and methods, and just play with it, guys. Okay, so the idea is play with it. So apply these concepts, start playing with it. So how to access, like how to define a, how to define a class, because see, by looking it, it looks very simple. But once you put on your hands dirty, right? So you will come to know many issues, and you'll ended up with a, But once you refer my class and start understanding how I am doing here on the initialization, or even like using the same attributes inside the other classes. For example, I am using self.price here, but did you see self.price works? But if I define normal attribute only price, right? Then I cannot access here, because the lifetime is within this function scope. You got it? And also what you can do is whatever the functions that we have learned so far, apply everything. Call by value, call by reference, right? Keyword based argument, single star, double star, right? The sequence. We have applied many things, right? You can use the same concept. Everything will work exactly what we have learned in the function concept. Okay, so apply those things, and do solve many examples with with this concept only. Don't dig more about oops and all. So the concept that we have covered so far, yeah, up to this mark, whatever you learned, you just apply all the function concept with this, even on the attributes part. All right, so this is the expectation from me, and if you are done, so I would also take one more session today once you submit the assignments. All right.